Meet Janessa, Janessa Green, seemingly another case of an avid reader turned writer.
As I read so much, I realized that there are some things that I was like, man, I really wish I could read a story like this, or I wish this happened. And then I realized that I could. If I wrote it, I would absolutely say that writing is my escape. I feel like it lets me just say anything that I want because I get to decide if anyone wants to read it or if I just want to keep it to myself. It's just a very free experience.
And this proved to be enough motivation to publish a work of her own.
And when I wrote this book, it was just a compilation of poetry and short stories that I had just written in high school, just thinking that I was going to be the only one seeing it, and it was just something to do.
Janessa's first book, Raw and Unlocked, which was published last year, bound these poems and short stories between purple covers, yet proved to tackle something much more difficult than the classic fairy tale.
If she says no, don't you dare unzip her dress. It doesn't matter what you fantasized about in your imagination. Constantly has regret and shame in tow, because I said no, yet he continued to go.
Rather than a work of fiction, this was all truly Janessa's story.
If you know you're doing something wrong, how are you going to continue to do that? Obviously, I said no multiple times, and you realize that you're not doing something that you're supposed to be doing, or you wouldn't be apologizing. And he still continued to have his fun and everything. And then after, we had split and clothes on, all that stuff, he was smirking at me as he was putting his belt back on and everything. And I've never felt my heart shatter like that before, because it's I was breaking.
And these feelings were silenced, suppressed, until one day in her mother's room someone else became involved.
So I was absolutely terrified. I just stood in her room and waited for her to ask me what was wrong, and then I just started bawling my eyes out. And she kept asking me, and I couldn't talk because I was just crying so hard. And she just guessed. She was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "Yeah."
So obviously that was a shock factor, but she was probably more shocked that it was coming from you.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it was, because she's told me that too. She was like, I can't believe that that would happen and everything like that. But then after I explained the situation to her and how it had actually happened, she was like, okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. After the surprise wore off and everything, she was like, okay, what do you want to name it? And do you think it's a boy or a girl? Let's throw a baby shower and everything. Because she knew I was still going to be living at home. By the time I gave birth to Evelyn, I was 16, so it's not I can really go out and sort of make my way.
And then Evelyn was born on the 19th of September after an emergency C-section. But with that, Janessa would soon experience the all-too-common motherly struggles.
It was nice because, especially when she was a newborn, because she pretty much would just eat and sleep, and then that would be my time to sort of get some schoolwork done for an hour or two and everything. It mainly got harder as she got older and wanted to run around and play and everything like that.
But being a pregnant teen undoubtedly would bring along an entire different collection of trouble.
It probably takes more of an emotional toll when you're younger, because you haven't really developed as much, you haven't really matured, you're still trying to figure out how to raise yourself while raising a child.
Even after all that has happened, Janessa has turned growing up fast into an advantage and has even found someone willing to handle her heart and Evelyn's too.
I don't feel like I really missed out on that much, because I already have my family and now I'm engaged and we're looking for houses and everything. So I'm glad that I grew up faster, because now it means that I have even more time to spend doing what I know that I want to have for the rest of my life. And obviously I would go through it a million times over to have Evelyn.
Rebecca Allen, DTV News.